Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Mount and Blade Bannerlord and we're going to be doing another troop or faction troop guide where we go through all the armor values to determine who has the best troops, at least based on armor value. So this isn't going to be opinion based, I'm just going to literally go over the weapons and armor, so the total equipment that each unit is, equipped with in the game, and we'll rank them based on that. So let's just dive on in. Alright, and there are 8 troops that we're going to be looking at today for the Vlandian troop tree, and the one that starts us off on this list at number 8 is the ARBOREAL. And now this one is a minor archery unit for a minor faction in the game, but it is Vlandian, so we will count it. There is only one loadout in the Arboreal's, range here, and it is as follows: the Cervelier over cloth head wrap, the green hood, the leather armor with iron plates, the leather gloves, the leather cavalier boots, the yew-bow, the barbed arrows, and the knightly arming sword. As far as the statistics for this suit of armor goes, we have a total weight of 15.36 kilograms, a head armor of 20, arm armor of 8, torso armor of 25, and a leg armor of 10, giving it an average armor rating of 15.75. And just for fun, I will, starting with this video, start showing you what they actually look like when you're wearing that type of armor. So it's a pretty good looking suit of armor in my opinion, but as you can see, definitely on the lighter end, and we are losing a lot of that armor value in the basically, not unarmored, but we have a cloth hood and then leather gloves and boots, which don't really help with that average armor rating. But that is number 8. Let's move on to number 7. Alright, and for the number 7 spot, we have the BOAR Champion. And now this one is a crossbowman, again from a minor faction in the Vlandian troop tree. The loadout of this one, there is only one loadout, so that loadout is the segmented Cervelier over Malcoif, the woodland cape, the sleeveless padded coat, the mail mittens, the leather cavalier boots, the hickory crossbow, light bolts, the fullered cavalry mace, and the Pavis shield. As far as stats for this suit of armor goes, we have a total weight of 20.15 kilograms, a head armor of 28, arm armor of 22, torso armor of 22, leg armor of 15, giving it an average armor rating of 21.75. As far as a little bit closer look at what that all looks like, we of course have the very large Pavis shield, which is fantastic, the hickory crossbow, which is not the best, but it is in the top 5, and then pretty light armor on the whole. Again, our torso armor and our shoulder armor is pretty light, helmet is decent, but not the best. We do have some of the best mittens in the game, and the boots are once again just plain leather boots. So nothing outstanding, but the stats of the BOAR Champion make it a lot of people's favorite crossbow unit in the game. But that's number 7. Let's move on to number 6. Alright, and so for the number 6 spot on the Vlandian troop tree, we have the Vlandian Sharpshooter. And now this one only has one loadout, and that loadout is the kettle hat over mail coif, the hood, the mail shirt, mail mittens, strapped mail chausses, the bound crossbow, heavy bolts, ridged arming sword, and the Pavis shield. As far as the stats go for the Vlandian Sharpshooter, we have a total weight of 25.78 kilograms, head armor of 42, arm armor of 31, torso armor of 28, and leg armor of 36, giving it an average armor rating of 34.25. So this one is a noticeable improvement over the BOAR Champion, significantly heavier armor, giving us a much higher average armor rating. We also have basically just improvements in every area. The only weak spot on this suit of armor being the hood, providing very little armor value at all, but a pretty good helmet. Solid chest piece, if not the highest in class, of course, and then mail mittens and strapped mail chausses, which are excellent. Then as far as our weapons go, we have the bound crossbow, which is the best crossbow in the game, heavy bolts, which of course give you excellent damage, including 5 piercing damage, the ridged arming sword, which is a above average one-handed arming sword, and the Pavis shield being one of the best and most durable shields in the game, and of course making formations like this pretty much impenetrable even to heavy cavalry charges. That is number 6, the Vlandian Sharpshooter. The number 5 spot goes to the Vlandian VOULGIER. This one is a shock infantry troop and is one of the best troops overall in the game, but definitely the best shock infantry. There are 3 different loadouts for this one. Basically, the difference is just being the helmet. So we will just be focusing on the first set, and that set is the peaked helmet over mail coif, the scarf, the white tabard over mail hauberk, the mail mittens, splint boots, the Volg, the ridged tipped arming sword, and the Francesca throwing axes. As far as the stats for the VOULGIER go, we have a total weight of 26.24 kilograms, head armor of 42, arm armor of 32, torso armor of 36, and leg armor of 34, giving it an average armor rating of 36. Here we see a significant step up in just general armor. Again, our major weak point being the fact that we have a scarf for our shoulder armor instead of anything substantial. The helmet is pretty decent. The white tabard over mail hauberk is in the top 15 or 20 torso armors, so pretty good considering how many there are in the game, and it looks real cool. Then we of course have the mail mittens and splint boots, two excellent pieces of armor. The Vulg is how it's probably pronounced, one of the best pole arms in the game, at least for hacking, even though it does really high thrust as well. A ridge-tipped arming sword, which is again an excellent arming sword, and then the Francesca, which are some of the best throwing axes in the game. Overall, pretty solid loadout. Some people would say that what would make it better is having that final weapon slot being filled by a shield, which would certainly make the VOULGIER a way more versatile unit, but as good as it is right now, that might make it a little overpowered, so this is how it stands. So that is number 5. Let's move on to number 4. So at number 4, we have the Vlandian Vanguard, and now this is a heavy cavalry troop, and there is only one set that's associated with this troop, and that set is the visored helmet over mail coif, the red tabard over mail hauberk, the mail mittens, mail chausses, a Valamby courser, the knight lance, reinforced cavalry kite shield, and ridged arming sword. As far as the stats for the suit of armor goes, we have a total weight of 31.33 kilograms, head armor of 52, arm armor of 32, torso armor of 34, and leg armor of 34, giving it an average armor rating of 38. The overall suit here is again mostly pretty good, but we have a couple weaknesses here. The helmet is an excellent helmet. Torso armor is a pretty good piece of torso armor, and the mail mittens and mail chausses are excellent equipment. The Valamby courser is a solid horse, and it typically comes with chainmail barding, which is excellent. And the weapons we do have are pretty good. The knight lance, the reinforced cavalry kite shield, and the ridged arming sword. There are two weaknesses to this troop's suit of armor, one being no shoulder armor, not even a scarf. So obviously a major improvement would be anything, especially any piece of heavy shoulder armor. And then of course the fact that we have an open slot that could easily be filled by some javelins or something like that. So a pretty solid troop overall as far as stats and armor goes, but there are a couple weaknesses to the stats. Anyway, that is the number 4 spot. Let's move on to number 3. So at the number 3 spot, we have the Vlandian Pikeman. This one has two different sets of armor, the only major difference being the fact that the second one has a hood, and since I find that far more stylish, we're going to go with the second set. And so that set is the peaked helmet over mail, the hood, the rough brigandine, the mail mittens, the splint boots, the fine pike, and the knightly arming sword. As far as the stats are concerned for the Vlandian Pikeman's suit of armor, we have a total weight of 30.52 kilograms, head armor of 40, arm armor of 39, torso armor of 41, and leg armor of 41, giving us an average armor rating of 40.25. So the armor on this one is pretty solid, nice and high, amongst some of the highest in the game, ranks in the top 20 at least, and is pretty solid for what it does. The only major weakness, again, is going to be, like most Vlandian units, the fact that we don't have a good piece of shoulder armor, because the helmet is pretty solid, as is the torso armor, and of course our boots and gloves are excellent. As far as our weapons on this one go, we only are equipped with the fine pike and the knightly arming sword, so obviously there is enough room for a shield to go with the arming sword, and maybe even some javelins or throwing axes or something like that to make it a combo unit. So the weaknesses of this one are, again, lack of shoulder armor and just the fact that two of our weapon slots are not being utilized. So that is number 3, the Vlandian Pikeman. Let's move on to number 2. Alright, so at number 2 on our Vlandian troop armor list, we've got the Vlandian Banner Knight. And there are 3 different loadouts for this one, and those are just going to affect the primary weapon. So the first will be a sword, second will be an axe, and third will be a mace. So we will focus on the sword set for this loadout. And that loadout is the full helm over mail coif, the green hood, the brigandine over mail, the heavy mail mittens, the mail chausses. We will have a destrier for the horse with chainmail barding typically, a knight lance, the reinforced cavalry kite shield, and the ridged arming sword. As far as the stats for the suit of armor are concerned, we have a total weight of 40.43 kilograms, head armor of 50, arm armor of 38, torso armor of 53, and leg armor of 38, giving us an average armor rating of 44.75. So this suit of armor is a pretty good one, ranks within the top 10 of the best suits of armor in the entire game as far as troops are concerned. Weak points on this one, again, like most Vlandian armor, for some reason we don't have good shoulder armor. So we just have the green green hood there. Other than that, we have one of the best helmets in the game, one of the best torso armors in the game, and some of the best gloves and chausses for that. Again, the Destrier is an excellent horse, great stats, amongst the best in the game, and the reinforced chainmail barding is some of the best barding in the game. As far as the weapons that we are equipped with here, we have the Knight Lance, which is excellent, reinforced cavalry kite shield, which is again one of the best shields, and the ridged arming sword, which is a perfectly fine one-handed sword. Again, for a weakness on this one, other than the shoulder armor, which we've already discussed, we have an open weapon slot that could very easily be filled by something else. Most likely, if I were choosing, some sort of a throwing weapon. But considering it's heavy shot cavalry, it's not too surprising that there's not a throwing weapon there. But that is the number 2 spot, the Vlandian Banner Knight. Let's move on to the number 1 spot. And finally, for the number 1 spot for our armor list for the Vlandia troop tree, we have the Vlandian Sergeant. And so this one has 3 different loadouts. So you can see that the first one, which is the one we're going to be focusing on, has a mace and the shoulder armor. The second one loses the mace in favor of a sword and also removes the shoulder armor. And the third one has an axe instead of the mace and the shoulder armor. Like I said, we will be focusing on set number 1. And for that set, we have the visored helmet over laced coif, the legionary cape, the white tabard over mail hauberk, the reinforced mail mittens, the mail chausses, the fullered cavalry mace, the reinforced oaken kite shield, and the long fine steel spear. As far as the stats for this suit of armor are concerned, we have a total weight of 36.16 kilograms, head armor of 46, arm armor of 39, torso armor of 73, and leg armor of 34, giving us an average armor rating of 48. And so for this suit of armor, you can see considerably less of a weak point because we actually have solid shoulder armor. So we have one of the best, again, amongst the best helmets in the game with 46 there. We have not anywhere near the best for shoulder armor, but better than a hood. The white tabard, again, so dropping down significantly in the ranking after some of those last couple that we did. The reinforced mail mittens and the mail chausses, which are both excellent. The fullered cavalry mace, which is a really nice mace. The reinforced oaken kite shield, which is a solid shield. And the long fine steel spear, which is a pretty good spear. The only weakness of this suit of armor is really that we're missing the 4th spot, which could easily be a throwing weapon or really anything else. Because it's open, it could be used for something to make the troop more versatile. But all in all, a pretty solid suit of armor and the best suit of armor in the Vlandian troop tree. And the 4th best suit of armor overall in the game for all troop types. So it's a good way to demonstrate that the major weakness in most Vlandian suits of armor is just the shoulder armor. If any of them in the top 5 for the Vlandian troop tree had better shoulder armor, like some of the other factions have, they would all be amongst the best suits of armor in the game, because the rest of the Vlandian armor is all very, very solid. But that is the number 1 spot for the Vlandian troop tree regarding armor values. And that's all there is to know about the armor and weapon loadouts of the various Vlandian troops within the game. Now, one thing to be noted that you may have noticed throughout the different loadouts in here was that if it weren't for the missing shoulder armor for most Vlandian troops, they would probably be the number 1 on the list. They would probably be the number 1 faction as far as armor values go in the game, just because the rest of their armor is usually pretty dang good, ranking among the best that you can find in the game. But most of the troops, for whatever reason, don't have any substantial shoulder armor, instead having some sort of a cloth hood or scarf or something like that. But in any case, that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it entertaining and or useful. But that's all for today, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you liked this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.